Welcome into Fantasy Football Weekly, and we're doing it on a Thursday because I got to work in a haunted house in about an hour. So we're going to try to rip through our rankings, give you guys our best fantasy football advice, and get you guys set up for week number 8. I'm David Huppin. Right there is Mr. Israel Rivera. Welcome to the show, my friend. And if you're new to the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we bring you guys daily content that you can use to set up your fantasy football team. So let's go. What's up, Izzy, man? How's life?
Life is great. Life is good. Ready to get it cracking, get it going. Got the NBA, got all 4 major sports going. I don't really watch hockey, but anyways, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, NBA's back, baby.
Let's go.
It's Thursday night football. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. I'm pretty hyped too. I finally so I'm still in AJ's league. I got my first win of the season in that league this week.
Oh my god, that's like I said, it's a very competitive league. AJ's league. They got a lot of good guys in there. I went 1-2 this week. I'm kind of slipping in our league. I'm slipping in,
I got beat by Graybo.
Oh boy.
He hung up 170 points on me.
170, that's a unicorn right there.
Yeah, man. I scored 140. I scored 140 and lost.
I'm like, dude, I remember I mentioned earlier about Jonathan Taylor, how I got Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. And you're like, how the hell did you get Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry? I just want to reiterate that I'm that guy because I don't know how the hell I got him either.
Let's go. Moving into week number 8. Let's talk about them quarterbacks. I'm starting with Josh Allen. I know it's a pretty tough match against the Seattle Seahawks, but Rick Wollen's still going to be out. Look for Josh Allen to put up big numbers. And then your boy, Jordan Love, number 2, the same place you got him. Jordan Love has just been a touchdown machine. And the Packers love to throw the football. Jordan Love's going to throw that rock, for better or for worse. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. A little bit lower on him than you are. I just don't think they're going to have to do that much. The Ravens to win their game against the Cleveland Browns. I don't think they're going to ask Lamar Jackson to get into the phone booth and become Superman. 4, Joe Burrow. They need to save their season against the Philadelphia Eagles. 5, Jalen Hurts in that same game. 6, Caleb Williams. I just think that secondary for Washington can be had. I think it has a good game. 7, CJ Stroud. I think he bounces back in a big way in a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me make sure that's the correct matchup. No, it's the Colts, but I still think he has a good game. Kirk Cousins at number 8, 9, Patrick Mahomes going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. 10, Mr. Efficient, Jared freaking Goff. Then my outside looking in, I got Brock Purdy. I think he bounces back with a good performance for the San Francisco 49ers, a game they have to have against the Dallas Cowboys. Sam Darnold, I think he bounces. He had a pretty good game against the Lions, but I think he has a good game tonight against the Los Angeles Rams. And then Geno Smith in that same matchup against Josh Allen. I think that's going to be a shootout. It might be super entertaining. And then my sneaky and dailies, Jameis Winston, 5,200 on daily. As long as he gets the start, I would roll the dice with him. I think he's got the gunslinger mentality. Those guys usually perform well in fantasy.
Yeah, and I think Jameis Winston's going to play very motivated. If you guys haven't seen the speech, about Deshaun Watson. Jameis Winston is a very passionate guy. And I think he's the guy, like you said, a gunslinger. I think he's going to come out and play well this week, especially against a team that is bottom of the league in passing. Even if they get down in pass defense, because they're playing the Ravens, even if they get down, like Jameis Winston's going to put up numbers. Look at what Baker Mayfield did last week. Anyways, number 1, Lamar Jackson. He's been the best player on the planet all season long. And I agree with you. I got Jordan Love, man. It's a good matchup that he has, this week. So, I expect Jordan Love to throw some, especially against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't necessarily think that he'll throw any picks, but I just knock on wood on that. But he's leading. He's up there second in the league in touchdown passes. Number 3, Jalen Hurts. 4, Joe Burrow. And then right on my outside looking in, right on my top 5 is Josh Allen going against Seattle. We said Seattle was going to be in a shootout with Atlanta, and it seemed to be just Seattle was in a shootout with themselves. But I do think that the Buffalo will put up some points in this game. This one is going to be on the road for Josh Allen. So I expect them to, they're gonna have to, run the football a little bit. But adding that Amari Cooper wrinkle to that offense is it's a big wrinkle. Anyways, number 6, I got Sam Darnold. I think he's gonna have a great game tonight against the Rams. 7, Kirk Cousins. 8, Caleb Williams, the young rook in Washington, going against Washington, but he's going into his hometown, right? He's from the DC area, so I expect Caleb Williams to play well, especially if Jaden Daniels isn't primed to go, just because of the fact that I think that offense. We'll see.
I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to play. Right. So I'll just throw that out there.
You get what I'm trying to say. They may not have consistent drives with Marcus Mariota, so the defense may be out there a little while. Which Caleb Williams might have more opportunities than we would have thought before. And then at number 9, Kyler Murray. And then I'm outside. At number 10, I'm jumping the gun here. Outside looking, Patrick Mahomes, man. He's falling off the map a little bit, but hopefully adding D-Hop to the offense might help him out a little bit. We'll
talk about D-Hop when we get to the wide receivers.
Hopefully Patrick Mahomes kind of, turns it around a little bit this season. Last year he threw 14 interceptions. This year he's on pace to probably have 16 to 20 interceptions this year.
I'm outside looking 8 through 6 games, so whatever that math is. So
yeah. So then I'm outside looking, and I got Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, and Russell Wilson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then my cheap option in FanDuel is Bo Nix at 6,900. I like that matchup against Carolina. He'll use his legs, probably get 60 to 80 yards on the ground. I like that matchup.
From the quarterbacks, let's talk about them running backs. I'll let you go first with your running back.
Yeah.
We have the same guys at 1, 2, and 3, just a little bit different order.
Absolutely, man. I got Derrick Henry at number 1. Going up against the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I know, I know that, Cleveland, has a bit of a stout, I don't want to say stout defense, but they got an decent defense, but it doesn't matter because, last week, Derrick Henry had 25 yards at the half, and then he exploded in like the third and fourth quarter. So Derrick, doesn't matter if Derrick Henry has 15 yards or 20 yards in the first half. You just know he's prone to just break one 60, 70, 80 yards. So I got him at number 1. At number 2, I got Saquon Barkley. 3, Joe Mixon. I like what I saw of Joe Mixon. Big, fast, downhill running back. We all know what Joe Mixon brings to the table. And he's going against the Indianapolis Colts defense that isn't really great against the run. At number 4, I got Breece Hall. 5, Bijan Robinson. 6, Jahmyr Gibbs. 7, Kareem Hunt, who, man, he's been turning back the clock to his, 7 years ago, Kareem Hunt, back when he was a rookie there in Kansas City. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like when Isaiah Pacheco comes back, who is going to start, because Kareem Hunt is playing. I would say Kareem Hunt's probably playing better than Isaiah Pacheco.
It'll be Isaiah Pacheco. It'll be Pacheco.
I don't know how we could say that, David. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. Okay, all right, cool. All right, at number 8, I got Kenneth Walker III going against the Buffalo Bills. Hopefully, they can give him the football some against this defense. And then at number 9, I got Aaron Jones tonight. Not sure he's all good to play. I think, right? Correct? Because I did these earlier in the day. I think he's good. I think he's good. I think he's good to go against the Rams. If he is, he's a top 10 back this week. And then round out my top 10 is J.K. Dobbins. On the outside looking in, I got Jordan Mason, Devon Achane, and Tank Bigsby going up against my Green Bay Packers. They've allowed, I think that they've allowed 100 yards from Joe Mixon before. I mean, they're not that great against the run. And I think Tank Bigsby will get a lot of touches in this game. And then my cheap option in FanDuel is Tyler Algier at 5,700. I like that two-headed monster this week against Tampa Bay. So
I agree with you. Swinging from your running backs, let's talk about mine. I got my 1 and 2 flip flopped. I just think Saquon Barkley has a better matchup than Derrick Henry going against the Cleveland Browns. The Cincinnati Bengals have given up a lot of yards on the ground. Saquon Barkley's been fantastic. So I mean, there's no hate there. 1-2. Joe Mixon, yeah, I love what I've seen out of Joe Mixon. And then I think the San Francisco 49ers, given the fact that all their wide receivers are injured, the most healthy wide receiver on their team was shot a month ago or 2 months ago. Jordan Mason is going to be number 4. 5, Josh Jacobs. I love how the Packers are using Josh Jacobs. 6, Kenneth Walker the third. 7, Najee Harris. I think he has 3 games in a row with over 100 yards rushing. 8, Bijan Robinson. Nice. 9, Brees Lightning Hall. 10, Kyron Williams of the Los Angeles Rams. Especially with how banged up the Los Angeles Rams have been. Kyron Williams has been like that lone bright spot on this offense. And then my outside looking in, I got James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals. Chuba Hubbard, even though I do expect Carolina to get smashed in that game, I think Chuba Hubbard, he's kind of become matchup proof. They got blown out by the Commanders last week. He still put up 50 yards and a touchdown. So look for Chuba Hubbard. It still could be consistent value. And then Aaron Jones, yeah, a little bit lower on him. I'm just concerned he might not play. But if he plays, you roll the dice on him. He's been amazing this season. And then my outside sneaky and daily, I got Justice Hill, the quote unquote backup running back to Derrick Henry there in Baltimore, who's really become like a weapon in 2-minute drills, a weapon in third down, super valuable in the passing game for 5,400. And then Tyler Algier, same guy as your guy at 5,100. I think that's a pretty good price for a guy who should have good value. We saw Derrick Henry did against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team a week ago. I'm not saying Tyler Algier is Derrick Henry, but I think you can have a similar sort of game, like 100 yards rushing and a touchdown for the Falcons.
Yeah, no, I like that. Tyler Algier is a guy that is like I said, he's the Thunder. It kind of reminds me of Lendale White and Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, yeah, that was a nice little tandem, Lightning and Thunder there in Tennessee back in the day. I think we're seeing it now here in Atlanta.
Moving on from the running backs, let's talk about them wide receivers. And before we get into our rankings, let's talk about the DeAndre Hopkins trade. What does the DeAndre Hopkins trade do for his season value? Like, if you're somebody who has him, what do you think his value obviously goes up because you're going from Will Levis and Mason Rudolph to Patrick Mahomes. But is DeAndre Hopkins a guy that if you need help at wide receiver, is DeAndre Hopkins a guy you should be targeting in trades?
Targeting in trades? And I'm 50-50 on that. I'd rather target what's his name? Amari Cooper and
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. I'm sorry, Godly. Yeah, he used to be a Packer. Godly. Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper. I'd rather look for try to trade with those guys. But DeAndre Hopkins, I think he's lost a step a little bit, especially in the last couple of years. He's a little bit slower and not his cuts and not his breaks. He's not. But
I think if you can get like a fringe option. If you could trade a fringe like running back 3 for a DeAndre Hopkins, I would probably look to pull the trigger on that.
Nobody's doing that though.
Well,
my thing is that everybody thinks that DeAndre Hopkins is still like this legit wide receiver 1, and they want like a running back 2 or running back 1 for him. And
I'm just saying, if you have like a running back 3 that is just kind of sitting on your bench, or even running back 4, if you can get DeAndre Hopkins for that kind of value, I would pull the trigger on that. To my rankings, number 1, same guy as your guy. I got Justin Jefferson at number 1, 2, Drake London. I think that Atlanta game is going to be a high-scoring affair. It was the last time these two teams played, even though the weapons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not quite there. 3, Jamar Chase. He's been awesome. So I think he leads the league in receiving yards now that Nico Collins has been out for a hot minute. Jamar Chase has emerged as wide receiver 1. The Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown at number 4. I don't think you'll have to have a godlike performance against the Tennessee Titans, but I look for the Sun God to have a pretty productive day. And then DJ Moore at number 5. Last time he played against the Washington Commanders, I think he scored 40 fantasy points. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember, but it was immense. He had like 4 touchdowns and like 200 yards receiving. It was a good day at the office for DJ Moore. And then number 6, CeeDee Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys. 7, A.J. Brown. 8, Devontae Adams. Yeah, I'm going to put him back in my top 10. I think he's going to have – this is going to be a bounce-back game for him against the New England Patriots. And then Brian Thomas Jr., I keep telling you, man, Brian Thomas Jr. has been really nice for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look for him to have a good game there against your Green Bay Packers. Then in the same game, I got Jaden Reed at number 10. Even though Romeo Doubs has been kind of number 1 wide receiver there for the Green Bay Packers over the last 2 weeks, Jaden Reed is probably the most talented of that group of wide receivers, though. And then my outside looking in, I got Terry Scary McLaurin. I'm not worried if it's going to be Marcus Mariota or Jaden Daniels. I think he will have good value. Amari Cooper at number 2. And then Malik, Will You Be My Neighbors returns. He came back from that concussion last week, was pretty productive. I think he had 8 fantasy points. I look for him to get even more in the mix. And then my sneaky and daily guys, I got Rashad Bateman at 4,300. Caught a really nice touchdown from Lamar Jackson. And as long as Zay Flowers is kind of sort of banged up right now, I think Rashad Bateman has some good value at 4,300. And then at 3,800, I got Sterling Shepard of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They lost their number 1 and number 2 wide receivers in that game against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football. Somebody needs to emerge as that new number 1 wide receiver because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, they're still going to throw the football. Sterling Shepard has shown in the past that he can be a productive wide receiver when he was in New York. I think he'll have a really nice game in his first game as wide receiver 1 or 2, however you want to slot those guys, along with Trey Palmer.
And the other guy, we'll talk about him in the next position group. Anyways. My number 1 is Justin Jefferson going tonight against the Los Angeles Rams. I just think that, you give it to Jay Jetta and he'll do some wondrous things. At number 2, I got A.J. Brown. 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And at number 4, we got CeeDee Lamb going up against the San Francisco 49ers this week. And then rounding my top 5, I got Jamar Chase this week. I like Jamar Chase, to be a top. I mean, some guys have him at number 1, some guys have him at number 2, going against a Philly defense, defensive backfield that hasn't really been, that great or proven this year against a, solid wide receiver core. Jamar Chase.
Aaron Jones has no injury designation going into tonight's game. He will play. He's going to be a
good. Awesome. Yeah. And so, and then Drake London at number 6. I like that. I like that matchup as well for Atlanta. I like Drake London. I like what I've seen. I like what I've seen out with Kirk Cousins between him and Kyle Pitts. And then at number 7, I got Stephon Diggs. 8, Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's been awesome this year so far for the Pack. So is Romeo Doubs since getting everything all straightened up with him taking that suspension on the chin. And then at number 9, we got George Pickens, who's kind of got a little revival with Russell Wilson. Seems like he's, liking those deep balls, or, maybe he's just, just catching the ball now these days because, he wasn't doing it with Justin Fields on a consistent basis. So he's catching it now with Russell Wilson. And then around the top 10, I got Tyreek Hill with the Brian Boyle starting.
Tim Boyle.
Or is it Tim Boyle? Oh, you know what? Golly. Brian Boyle used to be like my trig teacher. So yeah, Tim Boyle. My bad. No relation. Tim Boyle. Terrible. Yeah, I know, right? Anyways, on the outside looking in, I got Cooper Kupp, Malik Neighbors, and Amari Cooper. Actually, I think Amari Cooper is going to be in top 10 status this week. But I just, kind of, want to pump the brakes a little bit on it, and just kind of see and feel it out. But I think after this week, he'll be in top 7 status, top 5 status for the rest of the season. Once he gets comfortable with the offense.
I'll pump the brakes a little bit on the top 5 status. I mean, think of the wide receivers.
Top 7. Yeah, I know, top 7. Well, I could see him kind of, I mean, a fringe top 5 game, maybe, over Stephon, like my top 7's Jefferson, Brown, St. Brown, Lamb, Chase, London, Diggs. I could see him over Diggs. Anyways, okay. And then my cheap, and then And then my cheap option in FanDuel is Troy Franklin at 5,300 for the Denver Broncos. He had 6 targets, caught 5 balls from Bo Nix. That's like, one of his best friends from Oregon. So you can see the report there. I think Cortland Sutton only had like 1 target last week as well. Troy Franklin got majority of the targets. They got the most targets for the Denver Broncos last week with Bo Nix.
I'm still to this day telling you, Tim Boyle, he has to have some sort of blackmail on somebody in the NFL, because the fact that he continues to be in the NFL, what it just baffles me. I don't get it. Like,
we don't understand it either.
He's never won a game that he started. He's never won a game where he's thrown a pass.
Well, wasn't like Tim Boyle like Nathaniel Hackett's like guy or something like that? For some reason I thought he was like Nathaniel Hackett's
I don't know, man. He's
friend or something.
I cannot answer that question, but I just Tim Boyle is so head scratching. I like the fact that he's in the NFL.
I gotta look up his bio. I gotta look up his bio and see where he went to school. Or all that.
Like, he went to Western Kentucky. He threw twice as many picks as he did in his touchdowns as he did in college.
It was the Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, whatever. But he threw twice as many picks as he did touchdowns in college. Those people don't end up in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
He went to UConn and then Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah. Moving on from wide receivers, let's talk about them bulkier pass catchers. Let's talk about them tight ends. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, number 1 tight end is the Rook, Brock Bowers. And look, here we go, because I wasn't on the show on Monday, so I got a chance to defend myself and saying that Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end in the NFL. And, honestly, I don't think it's that close. He leads all tight ends in yards catch in receiving yards. He's top 15 in receiving. I think right now he might be top 10 in receiving yards across the league, because last week he was top 15 before he had the game last week. So yeah, TJ, Brock Bowers is number 1 tight end in the NFL. I'm sorry.
In fantasy, I'll give you that in fantasy.
No, in the NFL, David, in the NFL.
If you're talking about like actual tight end, like in the actual reality, he's not the number 1 tight end.
Bro, Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end in the NFL. What do you guys?
Anyways, I am on a bit of a schedule here, so let's.
No, I get it. I got you. We got 5 minutes. I thought I could have had a little rant. Anyways, at number 2, I got Travis.
You had your rant. It's all good.
At 3, we got George Kittle. And then at 4, I got Cade Otton from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is the guy that I think will get. I saw a lot of targets from him. Baker Mayfield was looking for him after Mike Evans went down. Look for Cade Otton to have a nice game. Trey McBride at number 5. Tucker Kraft at 6. 7, Evan Ingram. 8, Kyle Pitts continues to be a top 10 tight end this year. And then at 9, I got David Njoku. I think he'll get a bump up in targets with Jameis Winston as his QB. And then round out top 10 is Sam Laporta. And then outside looking in, I got Mark Andrews, Will Dissly, who's a little bit injured, but I think Will Dissly, he's a little bit injured. I think he's injured from that last game, but I think he'll be out. I think he'll be all right. Will Dissly had a hell of a game for the Chargers. And then Cole Kmet going up against the Washington Commanders. And then my cheap option in FanDuel is Will Dissly at 4,900.
We got a quick question here in the Facebook chat on StreamYard here. We got Joe Hennessy asked us, is Puka a must start tonight? I don't even think he's off of the IR yet.
The IR, I don't think he's. You must think of Cooper Kupp, because Puka should be on the IR.
So Puka Nacua actually is active for this game tonight.
Oh, is he?
Minnesota Vikings. He's missed 7 games. A must start.
I'm starting him. I'm starting him, bro. I'm starting him. If he's active, you're starting Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. No questions asked.
I see that. I see that.
100-yard night.
I'm less as bashful, I guess. I don't think the Rams offense is any good right now. Like, I don't think it matters who the wide receivers are. If I have a good fantasy team at this point, it's because I've won without Puka Nacua. So I think I can probably go 1 week missing. Dude. If he, I'm not rolling those dice.
Joe,
I don't think must start. He said must start. I say no.
No. Well, if you're in a deep league and you've been waiting like me, I'm in one of those leagues where it's like I got Nico Collins on the IR. As soon as he comes back and he's active, I'm starting him. over like JSN. I don't care.
That's
you know
way different. I mean,
I know
you're talking about Nico Collins is like a very potent offense. We're talking about Puka Nacua in a bad offense. Like that bad offense has been bad. They won a game where they scored 20 points.
They're playing and they're playing a Minnesota Vikings team defense
that likes to blitz a lot. They have a trash offensive line. He's not a must start for me. But
unless you need him. Yes.
From yours, I got Brock Bowers at number 1. I'm not saying he's the best tight end in the league, but he's the best tight end in fantasy, as TJ likes to say. 2, George Kittle. 3, Cole Kmet. Yeah, I'm high on Cole Kmet. I think he's going to have a good game here against the Commanders. 4, Travis Kelce. I also think that Travis Kelce has a real good game against the Las Vegas Raiders. 5, David Njoku. I think there's a rapport there with him and Jameis Winston. Look for him to get in the end zone. 6, Tucker Kraft. That pass he caught from Jordan Love on that touchdown was an incredible catch by Tucker Kraft. Like he just laid out.
It was an incredible throw.
It was a better catch. It was a better catch than it was a throw. Okay. 7, Evan Ingram. 8, Sam Laporta. 9, Trey McBride. Yeah, I'm a little bit lower on Trey McBride. I just think the Arizona Cardinals, their offense just seems so wishy-washy from week to week. And they're going up against a Dolphins team that may be motivated to play hard, especially if Tua Tagovailoa returns. But I have no idea if he's going to or not.
You start Puka Nacua because you got Mike Evans and you got Nico Collins, and Nico Collins is on the IR, and Mike Evans ain't playing. You start Puka Nacua.
I got Kyle Pitts at number 10. And then on the outside looking in, I got Dalton Kincaid, Cade Otton. For what I kind of just talked about with Izzy, I think he's going to emerge as like that number 2 pass catching option there in Tampa Bay, and an offense that's going to throw the football still a lot. 3, Hunter Henry seems to be that escape valve for Drake May. He's had 3 good games in a row. Look for them to continue that against the New York Jets. Then Cade Otton is my sneaky and daily 3,500. As I mentioned, I think that Tampa Bay offense is still going to throw the football a lot, so I think he's going to have value at 3,500. And then from there, I would say we talk about them defense on the other side of the ball. I got the Detroit Lions at number 1 going up against the Tennessee Titans. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is for them either. 2, Denver Broncos going up against the Carolina Panthers. Also, don't matter who the quarterback is either. 3, the Baltimore Ravens. Another thing where it just doesn't matter who the quarterback is. 4, the New York Jets. And guess what? It doesn't matter who the quarterback is for the New England Patriots either. Oh, Steelers? Yeah, Giants? Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're going to stink.
I think this was a very easy top 5 defense.
For real. Yeah. Then my outside looking in, I got the Minnesota Vikings going up tonight against the Los Angeles Rams. As I mentioned, Minnesota's been a really high blitzing team, and I think the Rams' offensive line is absolutely trash. I think Minnesota has a good game. The Houston Texans going up against the Indiana Colts. As we learned in previous matchups, Anthony Richardson probably will give you one. He's been just sloppy with the football. And then at 3, I got the Chicago Bears. This is kind of needs to have an asterisk next to it, along with my sneaky and daily. I think if Marcus Mariota is the starting quarterback for the Commanders, I think the Bears are a must play when it comes to defense. We've seen Marcus Mariota play. We know he's a backup for a reason in the NFL. If Jaden Daniels plays, I wouldn't roll those dice. But if it's Marcus Mariota, yeah, I'm doing it. And the Bears
Marcus Mariota was solid though. His last
he played against the Panthers. I can throw touchdowns against the Carolina.
I mean in his last stop in Atlanta. Remember?
No, he was not decent. He got benched for Desmond Ridder. He was not good. It was not good. Stop it.
That's because they thought Desmond Ridder was the franchise.
He was not good in Atlanta. Please stop it. I stick you daily Bears 2,700.
Look at his stats. Anyways. Yes, at number 1, I got the Denver Broncos because the Carolina Panthers are just abysmal. Andy Dalton is he needs to become a coach or something. I'm tired of seeing the Andy Dalton look like this. This is not the Andy Dalton that I remember in Cincinnati throwing all these damn picks.
This is playoff Andy Dalton.
Anyways, at number 2, man, you are so wrong, dude. You are so wrong. Anyways, yeah, 7 straight years going to the playoffs for Cincinnati. Let's put some more respect on Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton may be the worst playoff quarterback ever. Just in the playoffs. Like his numbers in the playoffs, terrible, really bad.
At number 2, I got the Kansas City Chiefs going against the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Chiefs are going to put a hurting on the Raiders this week. At number 3, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4. I got the Los Angeles Chargers going up against New Orleans, and I think it's going to be Spencer Rattler. Yeah, I mean,
probably.
that offense just – I mean, if New Orleans Saints are smart, they just give it to Alvin Kamara every play. Anyways, at number 5, I got the Detroit Lions going up against the Tennessee Titans. And then on my outside looking in, I got the on outside looking, I got the Packers, the Ravens, and the Jets going up against New England. Green Bay. This week, I like them to, against Jacksonville. I like them to get after Trevor Lawrence. I like them to get at the quarterback and Duval. And this is the team that just has the highest turnover differential in the NFL. Look for them to turn them over, possibly get a defensive touchdown. Green Bay's got a solid defense. They're coming around. Then my cheap option in FanDuel is the Lions at 4,000. I was so surprised that they're at 4,000. I couldn't believe it either, bro. They're going against the Titans. Like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. I might play fantasy. I might play fantasy FanDuel this week because that 4,000, it's a steal. So yes,
100%. 100%. And before we get up out of here, like we do every single week, we're going to try to predict who the number 1 scorer in fantasy is going to be for week number 8 when it's all said and done. But before we do that, we're going to try to predict. You're going to try to guess who the number 1 scorer in fantasy was in week number 7.
Week number 7. What was it, Derrick Henry? Lamar Jackson. 5 touchdowns.
Lamar Jackson was the number 1 scorer in fantasy. 281 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. He also pitched in 52 yards on the ground. Good for 34.44 fantasy points. Rounding out your top 5, Jahmyr Gibbs, Rashad White, Baker Mayfield, and Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
But when it's all said and done, week number 8, who's going to be the highest scorer in fantasy?
Week number 8. You know what? I'm gonna go with I'll go with Jordan Love going up against Jacksonville. Yeah, I'll go with Jordan Love.
I'm gonna go Josh Allen. I think that game is going to be a shootout against the Seattle Seahawks. I think Josh Allen has a massive game. And also, Joe Hennessy, thank you very much for watching the podcast, man. We're happy we're able to help you with your fantasy football team. Hopefully that all works out. And have a good time. And good luck in week number 8. We appreciate you watching, brother. And continue watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, man. We run shows almost every day. So you won't be absolutely. You're going to love the content. I'm David Huffman right there. Israel Rivera. And Izzy, what do we do? Hit the prime, my friend.
We bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen. Bring the heat, baby. Mic drop. I gotta start smacking a pen against the wall again, baby.
Yeah, man. You're slacking. I'll see you later, man. You have a good night, all right? And everybody have a good weekend.
Peace out.